ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Monday, March 11th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Marshall, just a few moments ago, you heard it right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930, winning the Sun Belt Conference Tournament Championship and advancing to the NCAA Tournament. We're going to hear Coach Caldwell's post-game comments in just a moment, but let's go right now. It's already in progress. James Madison at the podium. James Madison head coach Sean O'Regan speaking to the crowd. Let's hear what he is saying at this moment.
Good. The game plan is in place. It's hard to execute. Like, I'm sitting here saying we didn't execute. Well, yeah, it's hard. It's not easy, and I'm trying to do it on a board. Well, I can't do it. I don't know what that pressure's like. So they flew in there. They shoot 43 or 46 threes, right? It's long rebounds, and it's not going where you think it's going, right? And so you turn, you're a forward, one play zone for 45 minutes. You're a forward, and you're looking up, and it's bouncing off the rim, and here comes Evan Beeman or Hayes, or and they're flying in there. But there wasn't enough urgency on the glass, and that's something we've done all year long. And I'm a little surprised we didn't do it better. The turnovers, we haven't been great with that all year long, but the glass, we've been that good all year long. And I'm kind of surprised we don't have 80 rebounds here on the sheet.
Jarvis.
Looked like they were starting to pull away in the fourth quarter. You guys did fight back. So what that just kind of say about your group, because in a lot of ways it's almost not looking like Marshall yesterday, where they kind of were getting ready to run away with it, and you guys ended up fighting back.
They can weigh you down, and that's why I'm proud of my group. This stat sheet will make you question why you're proud, right? Because it looks pretty gross, but I'm proud of our group because we didn't quit. There was times I felt like the pace and consistency that Marshall was playing with was getting to us, but man, they deserved it. They didn't break. They bent a little bit, but they didn't break. And I thought, we had to go into our pockets pretty good with rotations and stuff like that. But I thought in the end they kept believing, and they kept evening it out. And it comes down to one or two plays, which is unfortunate, but they deserved it. I mean, they as much hard as we played with, Marshall earned that more than we did, and that's why they're champs.
Susha, how frustrating was it to kind of have to sit and watch the overtime, and probably felt like you could have been held up there?
Yeah, we said that's but I still believe that we got it because Anna sent us to overtime. So I just really hope we will win.
Coach, you feel like you're playing for the next league, or still? But the administration's made a decision. There's a new tournament now. It's called the WBIT, which is from the NCAA sponsored and run through the NCAA. So they picked 32 teams. That's the only tournament we're playing. So we're not playing the WNIT this year or anything like WBI or anything like that. So I really hope. I don't know. I think we're right on the fringe of that. When we lost Susha, we got nipped by two teams, Georgia State and App State. And I think if we had run the table, I think we're no-brainer for that. And I hope they take that into consideration, her absence, because I won't say we wouldn't have lost those games, but she's a pretty good player. I like having her around. So I don't exactly know. I'm going to try to find out probably today what our status is and how we look, if it depends on other people or if we're locked in that. I don't exactly.
Yeah, Coach, kind of along those lines. And you mentioned earlier about, maybe the Sun Belt one day is a two-big league. How close do you think they are? There's some really good basketball being played.
Honestly, the best shot we have is this situation where there's a team 17-1 that lost to us, and we can beat them in this situation, right? But Marshall's got to put together a more complete year, right? So the year when Kim was building it, they lost to Moorhead and they lost to Wright State and they lost to I can't think of it now, but Kentucky. And so those losses are quickly in an at-large situation, and the net is making it increasingly harder for mid-majors to get at-large bids. And so I think this is the situation, right? You gotta be near flawless in non-conference. Then come into the league, go 17-1, 18-0 type, and then losing the championship is really the only way. I think we've taken a huge leap from last year, but it's just this league is right now is there's too much parity. Like we're 13-5, right? Other team, I mean, it's there's so much parity in this league right now, and it's a good thing for our league. But in the end, you're gonna have two bids with a top heavy league, and Marshall was pretty top heavy once you got in the league. But overall, they just got started slow for the system.
Jarvis.
Susha, for you, just kind of being near the bench, you could see you guys togetherness and maybe as a team. Just what did kind of this team and your teammates mean to you personally?
We've been together for the whole year, and that's what we focused on in most of the season. That's why we were so good. So it means a lot, yeah. But
Any final questions? Shane.
Kind of follow up on Luke's question. Gary Broadhead in here the other day, he was kind of advocating for cutting down the conference schedule, playing 16 conference games, not beat each other up in conference as much because it feels like you can get good non-conference games. Is that something you would be in favor of? Get it?
Yeah, it's good because of a couple bus trips instead of being on a flight, maybe. I don't know enough about that and what games we could get. It's hard for us to schedule. But I think it's hard for everybody to schedule, right? But it's hard for us to schedule, so it's I don't know about that one. I mean, I'm sure there's some merit to it, and I heard a bigger league was talking the same thing, maybe SEC, I can't remember. But somebody was talking about that, and I don't know enough about the math. I think it's just it will help, man. But the net doesn't like mid majors. That's a fact. If you go on the net right now, there'll be some ACC teams that are above us or better than us. There'll be some SEC teams that are in 11th place that are better than us, and not that we're the standard, right? Even Marshall. It doesn't cater to mid majors much. And I think Marshall will represent school.
All right. Thank you both.
All right, that was Sean O'Regan, head coach of James Madison. Marshall defeating James Madison not that long ago. You heard the game right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Welcome in to tonight's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. We're going to sit and wait for Kim Caldwell's presser, but I think the best thing for us to do is we're going to take our first time out. And then we will come back early if Kim has taken the stage. And if not, we will come back as soon as we're ready to go with her. So stick around. Marshall in overtime winning the Sun Belt Conference Tournament. And just one moment before we take the break, it looks like they might be heading to the stage here any moment now. I see the water bottles being placed on the table. So I think I'll just hold it here. But I want to make sure that we hear this from Kim Caldwell live before we get your text in at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. So we'll just hold here for a second while we wait to see if they're coming to the stage right away. I'm sure they've had plenty of time to celebrate in the locker room as Marshall winning its second ever conference tournament championship. First ever as a member of the Sun Belt. And, of course, that means the Thundering Herd will go to the championship or go to the NCAA championship. Texter writes in and says, audio's muffed coming through the radio. Yes, I wanted to address that. This is from the Sun Belt. They are recording the audio on a different source. This is what we get live. So this is what the Sun Belt provides us live, so they don't truly intend for live situations like this. It just worked out for us that the show is going on at the same time as the press conference, so we're trying to boost the audio the very best we can. But I do apologize for that, but that is a product of the way that the Sun Belt conducts its Zoom press conferences. And as I said, this is a live setup, so we're waiting for the coaches to take the stage as we speak, and not sure when we're going to get to that here. They look like they're doing some setup. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We'll take a chance. We'll take our first commercial break. We don't get too far behind. We'll get your text in 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. A very quick timeout. We come back when Kim Caldwell takes the stage, if not sooner, here on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to the Monday, March 11th edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. We are waiting Kim Caldwell to take the stage at the Sun Belt Conference postseason tournament. Thundering Herd winning the Sun Belt Conference tournament 95-92 in overtime against James Madison. We're also trying to get details on when the team comes back to Huntington. And as of right now, Marshall is directing that social media will be the most direct link from the university to fans, but the estimated arrival back to the Cam Henderson Center will be about 9:30 tonight. So 9:30 tonight, Thundering Herd will update as progress is available on the travel agenda on Herd social media accounts, but 9:30 tonight at the Henderson Center is about the best I can give you right now for the team arriving back in Huntington. Until then, we await Kim Caldwell, and we'll get your text in 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. And let me preface this by saying again, the audio quality will be as good as we can make it. We're sacrificing audio quality by getting the recording and maybe not getting it on until tomorrow for the live ability to listen to it now. So I do apologize for the audio quality. It's the best we can do right now. It's the nature of Zoom. Sometimes the computer doesn't get linked up to the audio source directly and the recording mechanism. So that's the best I can give you. But until then, let's get your text in, and let's talk about this one, the Thundering Herd needing to go to overtime. And I'm not surprised by that. James Madison and Marshall both were the best that the league had to offer this year. Even though James Madison finished as the 3 seed, Marshall able to avenge a loss earlier in the year at the Cam Henderson Center. It was Marshall's only loss in Sun Belt play. And this is a game, if you would have told me Marshall would have beat James Madison and Mo and Abby Beeman were both on the bench in overtime because they had fouled out, I would not have believed you, because those two are definitely heartbeats of this team. And the way the Thundering Herd got it is all year long, shots and turnovers. Marshall only turned the ball over 12 times. They forced 39 turnovers of James Madison. And Marshall took, get this, 99 shots. Marshall was 30 of 99, 8 of 46 from the three-point line. Marshall shot 30%, but Marshall at this point beat them on volume. Plain and simple. Turnovers and volume. Marshall had 48 points off turnovers, 40 points in the paint, 25 points off second chance opportunities, 27 points off fast break points, bench points. This is the one time where James Madison outscored Marshall from the bench 51-35. But Marshall trailed in the first 20-15, and then Marshall trailed going into halftime. Marshall started cutting the lead. It was even in the fourth, and then Marshall outscored him by 3 in the fifth, the overtime period. And Marshall gets the win and the team's first ever Sun Belt Tournament championship. So we'll hear from Kim Caldwell, hopefully, in just a few minutes as we await for the press conference. Hopefully it won't be too much longer. We're going to keep it right here. We'll just keep it right here until we get to that press conference. So we go over a little bit at 6 o'clock. We'll keep it right here because I want to get that and give you the first opportunity to hear what she has to say. But I don't think it's going to take much longer. So we'll clear some of the deck right now. We'll take our next commercial break that we're required to. We'll come back. Hopefully Kim Caldwell will be with us. We will come back early if Kim has taken the stage at this point. Hopefully our next commercial break will be our last commercial break before you hear Kim Caldwell, and we'll do that when we continue on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 at AM 930.
Hey, Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you're a sports fan, we have what you want. From NCAA basketball, NBA, NHL, and MLB. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Stuck in a state of falling behind, struggling to keep up with kids, finances, insurance, and life? Well, let your State Farm agent help you simplify and get to a better state. With State Farm handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. More money, too. Adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40% and help you get ahead. Call an agent today and get to a better state with State Farm. In Huntington, Jeff Smith, 304-781-1234. In Milton, Eric Dodson, 304-390-4515. And in Wayne, Vicky Tabor, 304-272-5149.
It's Hoop Mania at Glockner. Find buzzer-beating bonus buys on 10 new car brands with our lowest live market prices. No stressful negotiations or confusing paperwork. Just a smooth, hassle-free experience. And visit Glockner's Buying Center, where our partnership with Kelley Blue Book allows us to offer you above current market value for your vehicle in under 15 minutes. No appointment necessary. In fact, we will buy your vehicle even if you don't buy from us.
We make it easy at Glockner.com.
Our Kindred Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood
in the tapestry of life.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
We're going to go to the stage live. Kim Caldwell is taking her seat, getting ready. Let's go to the presser live here from the Victoria's head coach, Kim Caldwell.
Entire Sun Belt Basketball Championships. For those in the room, when asking a question, please remember to identify yourself with your name and media affiliation. Those joining us on Zoom, please remain on mute and type your questions in the chat. We're joined now by Marshall, led by head coach Kim Caldwell. Coach, would you please begin with an opening statement and introduce your two players?
I'm here with Abby Beeman and Brianna Campbell. I'm so proud of my team today. I really can't even describe it. The stat sheet is unbelievable. They worked their tails off. Ball was not going in, and they found a way to get it done. And that kind of sums up what this team has been about from the very beginning. It's been hard. It's been hard. It's been hard. It's been hard. We've been thrown some tough breaks, and they've always found a way to get it done. And so I think that's phenomenal. It's been a great week for us. I'm very, very, very fortunate to be their coach. Love this team, love this group. They're very resilient. We want to make sure that we do it in a way that gives God glory of everything we have, right? We got MVPs, we got trophies, we have so much stuff, and we give out these little 3G stickers that means give God glory. And you're winning the championship, and you turn around, and you look in the crowd, and you see cell phones that have 3G in the back of it. And so it's bigger than basketball, and we want to do it in a way that honors him. And I think that's important. But happy for my team, proud of my team. I'm so happy that they get to enjoy this moment.
Okay, we're looking for questions. Go ahead, Paul.
I gotta ask you about the way that you just run
1-year game. I'm a hockey guy. The way that it's like line changes, 99 shots. Just talking about the philosophy, what we do, and how that bench and the players just buy into it. It was amazing.
Yeah, I think the whole purpose behind it is a possession battle. We want more possessions, we want more shots. And so in order to do that, you have to play really hard for short amount of time. And we got a lot more shots up than they did, almost 50, which is incredible. It's an incredible stat. And we get beat by 30, 40 if we don't do that. And so they found a way to get it done. And that's why we do what we do. And how you get them to buy in, I think I'm just really blessed with a group of individuals that said, hey, all right, this is the coach we have. This is the new coach that we got. Let's just go ahead and do it. And they bought in and they did it to perfection.
And to follow up on that, that's what you feel like that won the championship today.
Yeah, I mean, there was times where I could have bailed. I could have said, I'm going to walk it up and down the floor. We're going to play our best side, but I'm going to trust my team. I'm going to trust what we've done. I'm going to trust what got us here. And we went into OT and we didn't have our top dog. We didn't have our leader. And Bree played all 5 minutes without a sub, which I don't think I've ever done. I don't think I've ever put a player in for that long. And she didn't even blink. She was willing her team and said, we got it, we got it, we got it, we got it. And when you have players that will do that, I get a lot of attention that I probably don't deserve because I have players that will just take over, and I'm really lucky to have that.
Go, Luke.
HTBA, you've been in some battles with Bree. What has this journey been like? And I guess I'll throw this question to both of you. What has this journey been like together here this year?
Bree's the toughest kid I've ever coached. I mean, there's no question that she's going to show up and she's going to get everything that she has. Take a charge on someone that's bigger than her, dive on the loose ball. I mean, she's relentless. And so she's changed my life. She's made my life better, right? A lot of times the coach gets the attention, but I don't have 2 back-to-back championships without her. And so I'm appreciative of her. I'm appreciative of her to choose Marshall to come with me and help me start what I wanted to do here at Marshall.
Back left.
Pete Morehouse, WSAC. For Abby and Bree, really, how do you keep your composure when really the shot's on you? And like Coach said, you know, the tendency is maybe stop launching, but you guys just keep coming, and the grit was there. Just walk me through that game and how you thought about it.
Yeah, shots definitely weren't falling for us, but we always preach, just keep shooting them, we're going to give them the fall. And though we may not have got as many as we wanted to fall, I think we did hit some timely ones. Meredith, Ace, got some to go in big moments for us. So just keep shooting, keep having confidence, and it worked out for us.
Yeah, we've been there before when we haven't been hitting shots, throughout the season. So we were all confident in each other and that the shot was going to fall. The shots were going to fall eventually when we needed it to. So we just kept our head up and kept going.
Just to follow up for both of you, what's this mean? 27 years since Marshall has won a conference tournament championship and you won the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, it means everything. It's definitely something I've dreamed about. Just have like a shot at the NCAA tournament, but people don't really realize, I feel like, when you're on a mid-major program, how hard it is to get there. So I'm very appreciative of the journey and for the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to it.
Listen, it's only God. That's all I can say.
To follow up on this kind of crazy, obviously those 2 players, Meredith, this incredibly well-timed 3-pointers. Can you talk to the point about how you saw the momentum shift in that moment when those 3 started?
I mean, it's kind of crazy. Ason looked at me and said, next one's going in. And the next time down the floor, she shot a 3 and went in. And you have moments like that, and it's like, all right, do your thing, right? Trust your team, trust your kids. And we weren't going to stay that cold for long. And they did a tremendous job of making sure that they got more shots up than them. So if we were missing, it wasn't an empty possession. We had 33 offensive rebounds. 33. I've never had a team that did that. And if we don't do that against a team that's significantly bigger than us. So if we don't do that, we don't have that heart, we don't find a way to go get the ball, it's a completely different press conference.
Back right here.
Jason, WCHS, I mean, from coach, and you can also speak for your players from West Virginia, but from being from West Virginia, the West Virginia Tide, representing West Virginia, going to the NCAA tournament, Keith already mentioned, it's been a long time. Does it make it even more emotional than home state school?
Yeah, I mean, I've always played basketball in the state for us here, so it's special to me, especially representing just the journey. To like, kind of missing out of West Virginia, but just to get an opportunity like this, I feel like it's more rare in these areas. So I'm proud to represent my home state. And if we don't do that,
it's a team that's significantly
two Division I teams.
So if we don't do that, we don't have that part. We don't find a way to go get the ball.
I know that we had a lot of people back home that were watching and cheering, and that's why our state is so special, and that's why we just want to continue to try to make them proud.
Enrico, that's Coach Journal Coach. You being from West Virginia, you mentioned the crowd. What does it mean to see just all those people come from West Virginia down to Florida?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it gives you kind of a home court advantage. I thought we had the better crowd. I thought we had the louder crowd, which says a lot because JMU still had two teams in it. And so again, that's why this is a job that I wanted, is because of the fans.
Ray, one thing I'll ask really quick. Two of the biggest rebounds of the game end up in your hands among the trees. And I think that kind of gets lost in translation. What is it about you and Abby being, smaller guards that you all are able to get after the basketball and really find it in those key situations?
It's hard over hard all the time. We know that we have to work, extra hard, super hard, harder than others at times. So we're going to do whatever we need to do for our team to win. And that's just how I be and just how I am.
Go ahead, Paul.
Coach, you just said you wanted to be up, Marshall. What does this mean to you personally?
For me, I wanted this moment for them. And you, as a coach, you have days where you just don't want to. Not that you don't want to go to practice. I love my team. I love seeing them. It's the best part of my day. But I just don't want to put them on the baseline and run. I just don't want to hold them to the standard. I like them. They make me laugh. I want to let something slide, right? It's hard to hold a standard when you love your team. And there's some days like, all right, we have good energy, but we're not boxing out. Do I continue to hold the standard? And every day I have a conversation with myself. Well, it's for them to have this moment. It's for them to have this moment. All right, you're going to have to put it on the baseline. You're going to have to yell at them. It's for them to have this moment. And you could always not get it, but that's what I approach every day with going into practice is, hey, I'm going to pick a standard. We're going to hold to it so that they can have this moment for the rest of their lives. I tell them at the very beginning of the season, hate me now, love me later. And I try to live up to that.
Got a question from Zoom here for Abby. Heading into overtime, really have to turn into the ultimate teammate there. What was your mentality?
Yeah, that's tough to be able to sit there and not be able to physically do anything, but just be the best team that I can, do whatever I can to help my team win, even if it is from the bench. And I just try to do that to the best of my abilities. And they're the ones that made the plays, not me. I just try to cheer them on. But Abby did a great job. She did a great job. I mean, I didn't have to say anything in the huddles. She weaseled her way up there, and she was in there talking. She did phenomenal.
And then, Coach, what went into your decision not to call a timeout there in the fourth quarter?
Well, I don't ever really call timeouts. At what point?
Late in the fourth quarter, under a minute left.
We had momentum. We had momentum. We were playing. You look at your players, and they have a look in their eyes, and we were getting shots. We were hitting shots. And I didn't really want to call a timeout because they burned their timeout early, and so they didn't have a media left. And I think that eventually caught up with them towards the end of the overtime because they were tired because they didn't have any breaks.
Is that right?
Well, what were the emotions like? Take us through it, cutting the nets now.
For me today, it was emotional. Just everything leading up to here. Personally, I've been through a lot this year, so to be here with my team, and my coaches, my coach, it's just a feeling that's unmatched for me, and I'm forever blessed and grateful. And I'll touch on that. I think that Bree has been through a lot this year. Both of them actually have had some tough hands dealt to them this year. And when you have two seniors that will put basketball and put their teammates over themselves, again, I'm very, very blessed to coach them, and I'm happy that I get to coach them for another week. I'm happy that this is not the end.
Coach, you made a lot of fans in Pensacola with an NCAA Tournament. You just wanted any thoughts, plans, what are we doing to watch the selection show, whatever, and see what it meant up.
Yeah, I haven't even thought about that until they started handing out the tickets. I'm like, oh, we made the NCAA tournament. You try to be where your feet are, try to enjoy this one. We're going to take a couple days off, and then we're going to get back to work.
Coach, you've said throughout the year that, this was your dream job and you were hired not less than a year ago at the end of March. And what did those 4 steps up the ladder mean to you? Just knowing that 1 year had culminated into those 4 steps of coming.
It means I was right. I knew we could do this. I knew that there was a roster here that could do this. I knew the administration valued winning. I knew that our admin, they care about sports. West Virginia cares about sports, and we have a great administration, and they put value into winning, and they want us to be good. And I knew that this was a job that we could do this in.
And then for both the players, entering the court, you guys were touching something over there on the sideline. What was that? And, what kind of mindset did that put you in?
Yeah, so that's all her right here. She hid the pair of scissors down, so every time we went in, we would just know what we're playing for and not forget it, because it's easy to get lost in the moment, kind of forget the magnitude of the game. But, it's a good reminder to play hard, even if shots weren't falling, just to do the hustle plays and the effort. And, yeah, so it ended up working out for us.
Any final questions? All right, thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
There you have it. Post-game comments, Thundering Herd victorious, winning the Sun Belt Conference Tournament Championship, defeating James Madison in overtime, 95-92. We'll look at the breakdown of how the Herd got it done. Abby Beeman, of course, standout player of the tournament. We'll talk about her efforts. We'll talk about your thoughts about this when we continue. Text lines 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back. It is The Drive. Paul Swann, your host. What a good day for Marshall. Thundering Herd getting the victory over James Madison. Had to go to overtime to defeat the Dukes 95-92 to claim the program's first ever Sun Belt Conference Tournament Championship. So, that regular season trophy that got placed on display, that's going to get moved now. The tournament trophy will be on display real soon. Our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter writes in and says, are we going to talk about Beeman's double-double? Also, the team effort is like nothing I've ever seen. The numbers of clutch shots were crazy. Shout out to JMU. Heck of a game. Go Herd. Of course, we're going to talk about Abby Beeman's double-double. We're doing it now. Abby Beeman, 10 points, 11 assists. Let's run down your scoring. Meredith Mayer had 20 points in that game. What a warrior. 8 of 21. She was strong in the fourth. Mahogany Matthews with 10 points before she fouled out. Aislinn Hayes, 19 points. Brianna Campbell at 15. Abby Beeman had 10. It's just striking to look at some of the differences here. Marshall shot 30.3% compared to their 50.9%. And you're thinking, okay, Marshall should be losing this one. 30 of 99. It was just volume. This was a game of volume tonight. Marshall had 99 shots. This is video game numbers here. And Marshall was able to hang in the game and to capitalize. What if Marshall was really on tonight? What if the Thundering Herd was able to capitalize on some of those earlier shots? But Marshall defensively strong, forcing 39 turnovers and committing only 12. 4 blocks, 8 steals, rebounding. Let's see, 5 blocks. My apology. 5 blocks, 20 steals. I was looking at James Madison as I'm trying to scurry to get everything in order here. Only 8 steals for James Madison. 20 steals for the Thundering Herd. That's even better. So it was a good game tonight for the Thundering Herd. I'm going to get back to the text line. As I said, we're just We're throwing this show together as we speak, as we're coming right after the post-game comments of Kim Caldwell. Back to our text line, Paul. What a win. Those ladies deserve it. They played with heart, hustle, and determination all season. Job well done. Go Herd. Texter writes in and says, Paul, what an amazing game and team. So much fun to watch this shoot as bad as they did and still win. I think they have the ability to beat anyone. So that clears the text line. We'll get more of your comments in 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. So what I do know is that coming up about 9:30 tonight is when the team should arrive back at the Henderson Center. I've been told that more details will be on social media. So Marshall has directed me to follow social media accounts for the team's ultimate destination plans, but they expect to be at the Henderson Center at about 9:30. So I don't know if there's going to be anything that's going to be planned or it's going to be impromptu. I'm sure a lot of Herd fans will show up tonight ready to greet the Thundering Herd. But that's sort of the game plan tonight, about 9:30 for everyone who wants to go and greet the Sun Belt Conference champions, both regular season and the tournament. Now we wait for the announcement with Selection Sunday to find out when the Thundering Herd will be playing and where in the NCAA Tournament and the opponent for the Thundering Herd. That's what we're waiting for now. And the good news is Marshall would have been disappointed if the Thundering Herd would not have won the tournament. I don't know if there would have been an opportunity for a at-large bid with this team. But with the Thundering Herd winning the tournament, that's assured. But they would have had an opportunity with the WBIT Women's Basketball Invitational Tournament. There would have been that opportunity. Thankfully, we don't have to talk about that now. We can talk about how this Herd team has had a magical season so far under first-year head coach Kim Caldwell. Marshall hasn't been in the tournament since the 90s. That's how long it's been. Marshall hasn't won the tournament since the Southern Conference days. But there were some opportunities in the Mid-American Conference. Conference USA was a different beast altogether. I mean, there were some opportunities to be competitive, but not at this level. This is the highest level I've seen Marshall women's basketball in the entire time that I have been following Marshall athletics. And they still have more to go. And can they keep this up next year? That's now the standard. The standard is the standard, but that's going to be next year's challenge. Can you do it again? Because now Marshall is set. And in 1 year, Marshall has flipped the standard at Marshall with the win, with the tournament success, with the conference success. That's going to be a high level. You're not going to be able to attain that every year, but that's going to be the challenge now for the team. It wasn't you stumbled into the tournament. Marshall flat outright won the conference, then went in and won the tournament. Beat the team, the only team that seemed to have an idea, a game plan on how to beat Marshall. And I'm sure that's going to be something that Coach Caldwell is going to be looking over. All right, what are they doing? How do we adapt to it and still play our style of basketball? Because I think that's the kind of coach she is. She'll have some time, I'm sure, to maybe strengthen some of the things she does, but 99 shots. That's crazy. It was a good basketball game, and it went to overtime, and I wasn't at any point worried. Even when it went to overtime, there was not a time in which I was worried that Marshall wouldn't pull this out, because this is what Marshall's done all year long. Marshall has gotten leads. Marshall's gotten down. Sometimes I think they like playing down and then fighting back to kind of keep their interest in the game. That is crazy, how this team has been able to do this all year long. And to go from Division II, successful program, Glenville State, even won a national championship, to your first year as a Division I coach, and you win the conference regular season. You only lose one game in conference play, and then you win the conference tournament, and you might have an opportunity to win a few games. there could be a strong opportunity. Marshall could win a few games. Nothing's impossible, right? I'm not saying Marshall's going to win the championship. I don't want to put that jinx on them, but they're in it to win it, and they might have a chance here to go pretty far. They could go further than any Marshall men's basketball program in the NCAA tournament, men's or women. Marshall's only been to the NCAA tournament one time. The men a few times, got out of the first round a few years ago to the second round. This team could make it to the Sweet 16. Who knows? This could be the Cinderella team. How would that play if Marshall goes from 64 to 16? Could this be the sweetheart? Could this be the dark horse? Could this be the darling of the tournament for the women's side? And, of course, the good news is we're going to have those games. I don't have the schedule just yet. None of us do, but we'll have those games right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So I'm looking forward to that. Steve Cotton will be traveling with the team, so we'll bring you all of their tournament action live wherever it's at. We'll have that game, and we'll have their games all the way to hopefully the championship. We can dream, right? So tomorrow on the show, we'll talk more about this. It'll be a little bit more of a traditional show tomorrow as we're getting, back into the swing of things here. Hopefully we can bring on the show this week Kim Caldwell, a few players. We're going to try desperately to get you some of those standout players and Kim to talk about this. Then on Selection Sunday, we'll hear from Kim Caldwell. Monday, we'll know where the team's going. It's going to be a fun week, isn't it? It's going to be a fun week for Marshall women's basketball as they win the tournament, and this is the first Sun Belt tournament win for the team. Second year in the league, you don't win it the first year. James Madison does. I'll take this year. I'll take year number 2. So that's kind of our game plan for the rest of the week. We'll find out here in a few days when the Thundering Herd would play. We'll have those games right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And, of course, when the women aren't playing, we'll have the men's tournament as well. So we've got a lot of basketball coming up for you over the next few weeks. Thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate everyone sticking around with us. It was fun. Not very often we get a chance to do this and do it live with the press conferences. Hopefully we can do more of it. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you tomorrow. Until then, have a great night.